situations in our relationship, how to handle moments where there is disagreement, where there are tendencies to act out in a aggressive way, in a passive aggressive way, in a mean way, or tendencies to withdraw, how to handle all of that in our relationship. So I know when you're in a moment, it just feel overwhelming. It just feel like everything is just too much. It feels like a huge elephant in front of you and you don't know how to pick it up. It's just too much, too heavy, and no whatever situation you are in, sometimes you can get angry at your partner because she or he did something, or maybe you just get annoyed and you get scared and you just withdraw. Listen up. In the first years of a relationship, this is going to come up, okay? And a lot of people say, you know what, I'm just gonna see how the relationship works and then I will commit. And then they, guess what, they never commit. That is why I always keep telling you, you've got to commit. No, not because I want you to be stuck, but because this first phase of a relationship, it can start somewhere from 3 months on, from living together on, from being married together, but it will start. Your nervous system is going to feel safe enough to get triggered. One of my clients told me the story that her ex-boyfriend, he, after I think it was after 1.5 years, he started being really weird. Like he started hiding from her, feeling ashamed of her, like even in a supermarket, trying to not walk next to her, but like trying to be far away from her. And she told me in this moment, she knew he's gonna break up with her. And he did. And she asked me, Ellie, is this always gonna be like that? Like, will men always, you know, it can also be from the woman's side, but will people in a relationship always just start acting weird and triggered after a couple months, after commitment, after being safe with each other? Like, am I doomed? What's going on? And if you also have this thought, I hear you. I hear you. I actually used to even believe that happiness in a relationship only exists within the first 3 months, because later either people are going to be avoidant, abusive towards each other, or live two separate lives, where they kind of like function together, but there's no emotional, physical intimacy. It's just like, okay, did you get the groceries? Yes, no. Okay, great. And I was like, that is like a horror for me. I much rather be single until the end of my life than being in one of these relationships, And I'm sure you can relate to that. Give it a thumbs up if you relate to that. After the live stream, leave a comment if you relate to that. Okay. But I didn't have a good role modeling and I also didn't know what to do, but I was open to learn. I was open to learn, and thank God I received answers. So when you're in the situation when this happens to you, just like, this happened to my client where her boyfriend started withdrawing, or you yourself feel like, oh, I just want to withdraw. I just feel uncomfortable from this person. I'm the withdrawing person. Yeah. If I get triggered, my personality type is withdrawing and just taking space and just not wanting to talk or deal with stuff and people. So I definitely resonate with this boyfriend's behavior, because this would be me. I would be like, okay, bye. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm more like, okay, bye. But when couples face that, okay, what happens is, and this is just funny, but it's honestly not funny. what happens is that what we feel initially attracted to suddenly feels like a threat to us. And then different people react differently, in fight, flight, freeze. Flight is more like withdrawing, fight is like criticizing. And so, for example, for me, a lot of the times, I do feel attracted to strong, masculine, confident men, but then later I started feeling threatened by that. Or maybe in my client's boyfriend situation, I actually didn't talk to this guy, so I'm just like making up something right now. He felt attracted to her calm, relaxed nature, but then later he felt abandoned. Like he felt like he didn't get enough support, enough affection, okay? And this would make him withdraw. So, and then in this moment, people usually like lose their track, lose kind of like their mind, yeah, because they're just triggered. And I know you've been there when there's either a active fight or a silent fight, someone withdrawing, and you just hear your heart beating, and you just feel the adrenaline in your body, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? And I'm telling you that in this moment, just letting in like that will destroy the relationship. It will destroy the relationship because any sort of active criticizing each other, no matter if the woman or man does it, which is fight, flight, or withdrawing, or just like getting distracted by other activities and living parallel, everything destroys intimacy and relationship. But there is a solution to that. There is a solution to that. And the solution is when you and your partner sit together and literally talk about what is needed, what is missing. And that is so difficult. It is so difficult because the energy is heated. The energy is reactive. And even like the talk, like let's say this guy would sit down and talk to her. You know what? I don't like that you are so leaned back. Like, I wish I have more affection and support. You know, it's first of all difficult to sit down and talk because he might be triggered himself. And secondly, it's like, I cannot be myself. I cannot be myself. I have to be restricted. And it is a difficult situation. It's really difficult, but you can get over it within a relationship. And if you are struggling with that in a relationship, please reach out for a free love audit call because I can guide you and your partner through that. I've been doing that a lot in the last years for my clients who got engaged and married and now bring it here publicly. If you are a woman and you are dating, you go ahead and check out a lot of my old videos, how to date, how to attract a good man, because these things you don't do with your date. This is supposed to happen and be worked through in a committed relationship, because if you're not committed, you ain't going to survive that. It's too much. If you're not committed, why would you even talk to a person when your brain perceives like they're a threat? It's like, oh, she's ignoring me. Why would I talk to her? Oh, he's so loud. I'm triggered. Why would I talk to him? You know what I mean? So this stuff you shouldn't be working through in dating. Yeah, when you're right now dating, it's good for you to know. Maybe you had actually this information helped me being open to dating again because I was like, I can't go through this drama anymore and like being stuck in a relationship that isn't happy. So, having this information really helped me. But if you need dating advice, go back to my old videos. And for men, I also have a playlist about dating. So you can check that out too. Okay, so let's go back to how how to deal in this situation. So the most important thing is that you don't react. you really have to take a break. You really have to take a break and calm yourself down. Yeah. And once you feel a little bit calm, then you communicate. Then you communicate your needs. And then your partner also has to be growth mindset. If they are not, it's gonna be difficult. And let me tell you a secret here, because I was thinking when I was in this situation where my partner was telling me, okay, change that, and I can tell you my weaknesses, and that was being also too cool, honestly. Too cool, too withdrawn, too just like not affectionate and loving enough. And I was, but this is just who I am. What do you want from me? Like, just leave me alone. Like, why can I not be just who I am? And then one of my coaches told me, and this makes so much sense for me, that whatever our partner kind of like craves from us or criticizes in us, this is usually the field of growth for us too. And I'm like, okay, I'm actually very growth mindset, and it's generally my intention in life to grow, to be a better person, to be, a better person generally. And I was just thinking, okay, let me be open for that. Mm, what would be the benefits if I learn to be more warm, more affectionate? Which I'm naturally just like withdrawn and cool and just like, you know. And I was thinking the benefits would be huge. People would just generally feel more loved around me. And then I was thinking, oh, but that's just embarrassing. Me being like walking around with a smile. Yeah, you're so cute. I'm just like thinking about talking to a kid or a cat. I was just like, that's so embarrassing. Like, who talks like that? Oh no, I'm no longer cool or what? And then I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stick to this thought that whatever it is, there is still a field of growth for me and it's gonna benefit me. And I realized it did so much. When I expanded my capacity to be affectionate, to be warm, even with my tone, I become even more magnetic. Like my whole aura just become more magnetic. Clients just feel more safe and loved around me. Animals want to be around me. Even when I take the train somewhere, I see like kids want to sit next to me. It's just sweet. So I was like, wow, it's amazing that I developed this side of me, and it's not about changing myself, but bringing two people together, bring two nervous system together is just not easy. And there will be growth on both sides that need to happen. Let's say someone needs to be more consistent, more consistent with behavior, and I again feel called out. I'm actually a very disciplined person, but I'm not so consistent because I kind of like live my life with whatever feels like right to me. I get things done. It's just like not extremely like on time and consistent and organized. And I got called out on that. And I was like, okay, I also have to work on that because there are people who feel much more safe when I am actually more consistent with, you know, being present, delivering things, getting things done. Like when a girlfriend or even my partner asks me, do that I actually do that also on time. So, yeah, like there was so much growth, and this kind of like work allows you guys to stop seeing each other as enemies, as being hurt, as being as as like wanting to withdraw. Like it stops triggering the nervous system, and you guys become actually like a divine union. You're gonna have like a honeymoon forever after, where you feel like everything is just smoothed out, everything is just settled, and there is love, there is attraction. And I know that most of you didn't experience that in your childhood, like more, like it's so rare. It's so rare. Most of you didn't experience a healthy relationship. You just didn't, and I didn't either. Like I was lucky that I had a host family when I was doing my uh, school exchange. I had a host family that I was like, wow, this is a healthy relationship. They work through their stuff, and there is still love, there's still intimacy, there's still attraction, there's still laughter. So when I hear people say, you know what, like you can't keep that up about more than a year or whatever, that is not true. You can, and it's gonna be even more deep. It's gonna be even more beautiful. By the way, I'm spontaneously deciding that I'm gonna put a link in the description box for the waitlist and the early bird access to a future course that will help couples come together. That will help couples in this process to become conscious, to have the honeymoon forever after. I didn't come up with a name yet. You will see it in the description box, but we are opening that up, okay? And you need to have this information because you deserve to have a relationship that is loving, that is conscious, where both people are fulfilled. You know, you cannot just be stuck in a relationship where both people trigger each other and then there's either distance or one of the people are nagging or always criticizing. You know, it also is like so you just feel unloved. You just feel unloved and unaccepted, right? Like it just feels like, why can't I just be with someone who accepts me? And I know how frustrating that is. I know how frustrating that is. Like relationships were one of the biggest question mark in my life. And I have to admit, I used to be horrible at that. Actually, one of my friends asked me, why did you become a coach? Like, why did you become a coach? And I told her, listen up. I know that maybe you don't think that of me right now because it's not the stereotypical look, but I used to be a huge nerd. Like, I was so into science, mathematics, chemistry, physics. Oh, that was just my lot. Like, I thought I'm gonna be a scientist or a doctor or something like that because I always wanted to heal and help people, and I loved science. So, that was just a perfect match, I thought. And then I realized that because I was so bad in relationships, in emotional mastery, and I realized how important relationships are for me, I started to kind of like hire coaches, take programs, read books about relationships, and I gained like so much knowledge within a couple years because I was obsessed. I would day and night, and admittedly, I still do, educate myself, work on embodiment in this area, and I saw shift so quickly. And then, yeah, and then I had girlfriends that I kept coaching. Like I was working like somewhere else. And then in my breaks, my girlfriends would call me and be like, Ellie, tell me how do I do this? Like I have issues with that. And now they are all in happy relationships. And I was like, okay, I'm really having fun here. What if I do that full time, not just part time, like after my work? And this is what happened nearly 6 years ago. And since then, I'm here. So this is actually my story that I was not good at that stuff. I was a nerd. I was good in like logical stuff and relationships, dating, all of that kind of gave me a headache. So if you are in the situation where you feel like, yeah, it's also giving me a headache, but you deep down feel like, what if I had love in my life? What if I can be loved and accepted? What if I can be happy longer than 3 months or a year in a relationship where the honeymoon is carried by chemicals? The honeymoon is carried by chemistry, but then later everything shifts, and then you think, oh no, I've got to get out of here. What if you don't? What if you and your partner can overcome that hurdle and actually have forever emotional intimacy because there is safety, and actually have kind of like forever sexual intimacy, physical intimacy? There's emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, you're still best friends, and your brain doesn't make your partner a monster, because this is literally what happens. Your brain thinks he or she is a monster. And it is honestly a combination of working with the person, of working with your partner. That's what I'm saying. Don't do it in dating. This is not for dating. This work is not for dating. This work is for a committed relationship. If you're not committed with your partner, it's not gonna it's not gonna work, because it's not that fun, honestly. It's worth it, but it's not that fun. It's like brushing your teeth. I don't know, maybe you have fun, but I don't. It's like it's just something you do, and you've got to be committed to it, because it's just not fun. Maybe it's even sometimes uncomfortable. Yeah, but you definitely get to overcome that hurdle. You do not have to be stuck or chasing short-term relationships. I mean, if you don't mind, fine. But if you only have relationships 3 months to a year long, and you break off, now you know why. Now you know why, because you never learned how to actually overcome that hurdle with your relationship. And I'm not talking about abusive relationship. Obviously, if someone is abusive, that's a different situation. But usually, people in a relationship get triggered by normal behavior, and that has to be addressed within them, and also that has to be addressed in the relationship. I'm just gonna spill all of the beans today. So one more thing that I had to work on, and it drove me crazy, I have to admit, is that, because my nature is just, I'm a Taurus. I'm kind of relaxed. I'm kind of chill, honestly, like grounded, stable, just doing my thing. And I've been already working on showing affection and love and all of these things. And then my partner used to say, oh, you don't care about me. You don't care about me. You don't care about me. And on my side, like, it drove me crazy, because I was like, really? I'm not caring about you. You know how much I do for you? I didn't do for anyone so much like for you. I listen to you. I bring you even a tea. Like, I care about you so much. You don't care about me. And in this moment, I felt like how? Like, honestly, compared to myself in the past, where I didn't even talk to people that annoyed me a little bit, I care a lot. But well, that's not his problem, right? Like, his trigger was like, I'm not being cared enough. And for whatever reason, it's usually childhood reasons, right? And and then it drove me crazy, but then I remembered, okay. Let me remember that every challenge also increases my capacity. I don't have any kids yet, but who knows, when I have kids, maybe they feel abandoned by me because I appear not caring. All right, I have to increase my capacity to really care, to really show warmth and love. Let's do it. I'm ready for it. And once I did it and I saw that people around me just feel more care, because I started asking questions, okay, what else can I do for you? And it was just it was just so weird for me to honestly like go against my habit of just being in my own world. I'm just always in my own world. And then asking questions, I really feel good about myself, because it also goes into other relationships, like the relationship with my mom. You know, um, she honestly never complained. She is a very relaxed, loving woman. But I felt like when I started asking her the questions too, like, do you need anything from me? Can I do something for you? Like, do you want to talk? I myself felt like a better human, you know what I mean? Because I increased that ability. of just being more attentive to others and caring others, and I'm sure when I have kids one day, it will be really good, beneficial to have these kids. So you name it, I could give you a million of examples. I could talk about this forever. Maybe I save it for another video, but these things happen in relationships. Oh, one of the examples I'd like to share with you, I think, and then we can end it. It was I used to have a huge trigger with TV. TV was like, I couldn't stand TV because when I was a kid, my caretakers, and there was different people. I grew up between my aunts, parents, and stuff like this. They would just always watch TV and ignore me and didn't give me attention. And I felt so abandoned. And guess what? Most people watch TV. Now I do too. You see it because I do the Netflix reviews. So I kind of hit my TV trigger. But I was like, I don't like TV, I don't like watching TV, I don't like people who watch TV, but this is just such a normal activity, right? It's not a toxic activity. But every time I would see someone watch TV or be on the phone, I would be so triggered. I would be like, how dare you ignore me? You watch TV or you are on your phone. And it was a lot for me. Like I had to internally heal that, which is possible too. So if you are single and you realize, wow, I have a lot of triggers, and what people do, it triggers me a lot. I'm either going into fight, flight, or freeze. You can also reach out to me for a free love audit call. We're gonna talk about this. The link will be in my bio or in description box. You know, so this TV thing, and then I really had to like internally work on. Okay, I'm not abandoned. I'm not abandoned because when I saw my partner, and it wasn't even my partner, it also was with my family members. When I saw anyone watching TV, I immediately felt abandoned and I wanted to tell them how dare they are so mean that they are watching TV. I just wanted to hide in my room and be like, you know what? You ain't caring about me. I don't care about you. And you see, I would sabotage my relationships again, right? And these triggers come up to be healed. They don't come up to destroy your life. They come up to be healed. And yes, other people might think like she is crazy for like being triggered by TV. No, I'm not crazy. I had a childhood wound of that. And every person has some kind of childhood wound and it just comes up in crazy ways. Anyways, I was able to share this with my partner that I get really triggered watching TV. Again, that's why it's not about dating, because in dating, you guys are still kind of like judging each other, checking each other out. And then who knows, if I was dating in this situation, my partner would be like, okay, boy, I think you're crazy because you don't even let me watch TV, right? So that's why you've got to be committed to do this work. But once you're in a relationship and you're committed, then it's about becoming even closer, okay? It's like I chose this person, let's become closer. Anyway, so I was sharing, listen, I have this trigger from my childhood. I've been, always just felt abandoned if someone watched TV. I always felt like I don't get enough attention and I don't feel like a priority. And it feels like a huge elephant in front of me. Like I really want to react by either scream or run away. Like it's just a big thing for me. And I also did my part to regulate my nervous system, which is obviously also very important. And I was like, can you help me heal? Can you literally prioritize me and not the TV? I know that after work, you're tired, you're exhausted, but if you can, please do that. And he did. And I was just so blessed. And I was just healed with that TV thing. It was just gone. So now, anytime I see someone watch TV, I no longer get abandoned. I no longer get triggered. I might go sit with them and watch together, you know what I mean? And this is what I mean with overcoming that hurdle. Right now, you might be thinking, there is no way I'm gonna be okay with him doing this and this and this. There's no way. But guess what? There is a way. Either he or she will change that behavior for you, or there is a way and you're actually gonna overcome the trigger, because a lot of times triggers just give us certain meanings that we can change. Yeah, unless it's obviously a toxic behavior, um, that's a different story. But a lot of the times, just like someone watching TV, it was the meaning for me that I am not good enough to be listened to. I'm just not important. That was the meaning that I had, right? And I had to heal that, and I had to get to support so that I can be on the other side, and I'm not like seeing my partner or even anyone watching TV and thinking, oh, they're a monster. They just don't care about me. They don't prioritize me. They probably hate me. Like, this is what the brain comes up with. Yeah. Or maybe you attracted someone who is like very flirty, very social, very, like very outgoing. And now you're like, why are you so bubbly? Why you are like wanting to talk to people? Why are you social? Like, like I feel jealous, I feel overwhelmed, I feel all of that. That can happen too. And in this situation, both people have to work with each other. Obviously, there are boundaries, so we shouldn't like completely change our behavior, but there can be, for example, reassurance given. Hey, yes, I am a bubbly person, but I'm not like cheating. I'm just hanging out with some friends. Maybe you can come with me, you know? So again, I'm gonna save it for another live stream, but I could give you a million situations where we feel drawn to a personality trait in the beginning, and then later it's like red. Red, like, oh no, I can't take it. I can't take it. And it is difficult. It is difficult. Yeah, and a lot of the people, they even cross the boundary of just reacting to literally touching the toxic side of reacting. And like, it's not a on and off switch, right? But it is just important that you're self-aware of your behavior, you work on your behavior, and you make a relationship work where you both can enter a forever after honeymoon phase and work smoothly together. It is possible for you. Okay, so if this was a trigger for you to enter a relationship because you've been in relationships before where behaviors triggered you, no matter if they were toxic or not, maybe they were just someone watching TV, like was my case, or you just kind of like didn't like that personality trait anymore, there is a way to overcome that. Okay, this is just what I wanted to tell you. And if you know someone who's in this situation right now where they don't like their partner anymore or they're just triggered by them, send this video to them. Okay, if you personally want support, make sure to reach out for a free love audit call and check out the description box or my bio, because I'm gonna put a early bird price pre-order link to my upcoming course for couples to enter that forever after honeymoon phase. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a comment if you resonated with this in a relationship. And I see you in the next video.